RAHEEM Sterling's Chelsea exit leaves Axel Disasi and Datro Fofana as the only surviving members of the Blues' bomb squad. And with Disasi and DDF both tipped to seal moves before the transfer window closes on Monday, new boss Liam Rosenior will be able to draw a line over an incredible 8 months in which 21 senior players could end up leaving Stamford Bridge. Sign up for the Chelsea newsletter. Thank you. RAHEEM Sterling has finally left Chelsea after being frozen out under former boss Enzo MarescaCredit. Getty. Chelsea had to pay Sterling to go, after agreeing a compromise deal to tear up the remaining 17 months of his £325,000 a week deal. But the Blues have raised a potential total of almost £300 million in fees from permanent transfers or loans with obligations to buy, for stars deemed surplus to requirements by former boss Enzo Maresca, Rosenior and the sporting directors. Sunsport looks in detail at the fate of the summer 2025 bomb squad and tots up the list of those departed from Stamford Bridge, including 5 of the 9 goalkeepers Chelsea had on their books. RAHEEM Sterling. As Sterling, 31, said on Instagram after his departure was confirmed, "All eyes on the future." Read more on Chelsea. Sterling wants to stay in London and is being linked with Fulham, West Ham and Crystal Palace. Now his standoff is finally over. The 4-time Premier League winner and England international managed to keep a lid on his frustration, despite the way he was treated. For example, the Blues' official Instagram account wished happy birthday to Captain Reece James, but not to Sterling, who was also born on December 8. It was a saga which did not paint the club in a great light and means Sterling has not played a competitive game for more than 8 months. Most read in football. Best online casinos, top sites in the UK. Axel Disasi. It was the former France international who showed the world the strange situation he and his fellow bomb squad members found themselves in last summer. Disasi posted a picture from the Portakabin-style dressing room that he shared with the other players who had been forced to train, change and even eat away from their former first-team colleagues. Disasi, who spent the second half of last season on loan at Aston Villa, resisted temporary moves to West Ham and other clubs in the last window. But he worked his way back into Chelsea's good books by training well and even captaining the under-21 team. Rosenior then brought him back into first-team training earlier this month. He will have to leave to play first-team football, though, with West Ham again leading the hunt. Disasi's photo showed the world the reality of life for the Chelsea bomb squad. Credit. Getty. Leslie Ugochukwu, the French midfielder, whose nameplate was among those visible in Disasi's photo, followed a path that is becoming familiar for young players signed by Chelsea. Signed in 2023 at the age of 19 for £23.5 million, after 2 decent seasons at Rennes, he had limited opportunities and was shipped out on loan last season to Southampton, who were relegated. The signing of midfielder Dario Esugo and the return to Chelsea of fellow midfielder Andre Santos from loan at Strasbourg sent a very clear message. Ugochukwu, 21, was one of 3 Blues players to join newly promoted Burnley over the summer. He has played regularly since his £23 million move, but seems to be heading for back-to-back relegations. Carney Chukwuemeka, the former England U21 international, was one of the signings in the first summer of the current Chelsea ownership and an early example of the strategy of taking a punt on promising young talent. After playing a bit part in 2022-3, midfielder Chukwuemeka's hopes of making an impact under Mauricio Pochettino were wrecked by injury. Sidelined by Maresca, the former Aston Villa trainee spent the second half of last season on loan at Borussia Dortmund. The Bundesliga side agreed to make the deal permanent last season for a fee of £24 million, a decent profit on the initial £15 million Chelsea paid 3 years before. Chukwuemeka, 22, has made 24 appearances this season, the majority as a substitute. David Datro Fofana is one of the 2 members of the summer 2025 bomb squad left at Chelsea. Credit. Getty. David Datro Fofana, the Ivory Coast international, 23, is the forgotten man of Chelsea's mind-boggling January spending spree 3 years ago, which saw them spend nearly £300 million. Signed from Norwegian club Molde for £10.5 million, the striker made only 4 appearances for the Blues before being sent out on loan in 2023-4, first to German side Union Berlin and then to good old Burnley. Another temporary move last season, this time to Turkish side Göztepe, started fairly well, but a serious knee injury led to him returning to Chelsea. Datro Fofana scored 8 goals in 15 appearances on loan at Turkish club Fatih Karagümrük this season before being recalled, ready to be sold this month, probably to Celtic. Armando Broja, one of the saddest stories of the bomb squad. Born in Slud, Albanian parents, he joined Chelsea when he was only 8 and worked his way all the way up to making his senior debut at the age of 18. A good loan spell at partner club Vitesse Arnhem followed and he did okay at Southampton in the following 2021-2 campaign, scoring 9 goals in all competitions. But Broja, 24, suffered a serious knee injury in a friendly against Aston Villa in late 2022 and has struggled ever since. He failed to score during half a season at Fulham and a full campaign at Everton, where injuries wrecked last season for him. Broja joined Burnley for £15 million last summer but has scored just once in 19 appearances for the struggling Clarets. Alfie Gilchrist was ecstatic to score his first goal for Chelsea's senior team in April 2024. Alfie Gilchrist. In Disasi's photo, it is Gilchrist who is sitting opposite Broja, with his head in his hands. It was an image that touched the hearts of many Chelsea fans as they reflected on how another hotly tipped homegrown player was on the way out. The defender joined the Blues aged 11 and was the captain of successful youth teams, encouraging comparisons with John Terry, who was among those to predict big things for Gilchrist. Recommended stories. He did pretty well last season on loan in the Championship with Sheffield United, but the signing of more young defenders last summer left him with only one option. Gilchrist, 22, joined West Brom in a deal worth up to £2 million, but has made only 7 appearances for the Baggies so far. Cashing in. Senior players who have left Chelsea since last summer. Chelsea have moved on a host of stars, including Nicholas Jackson, above. Nicholas Jackson, forward, to Bayern Munich, £14 million loan fee, £56 million obligation to buy based on appearances. Noni Madueke, forward, to Arsenal, initial £48 million, rising to £52 million. Christopher Nkunku, forward, to AC Milan, loan with obligation to buy for £36 million. João Felix, forward, to Al Nassr, initial fee £26.2 million, up to £43.7 million. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, midfielder, to Everton, £26 million, rising to £30 million. Renato Veiga, defender, midfielder, to Villarreal, up to £26 million. Mathis Amugu, midfielder, to Sporting Lisbon, £12.5 million. Bashir Humphreys, defender, to Burnley, £10 million. Leo Castledine, midfielder, to Middlesbrough, £1 million, rising to £2 million. Goalkeepers: George Petrovic, to Bournemouth, £25 million. Kepa Arrizabalaga, to Arsenal, £5 million. Lucas Bergstrom, to Real Mallorca, free transfer. Marcus Bettinelli, to Manchester City, free transfer. Eddie Beach, to Kilmarnock, free transfer.